I do not want to give my sister my wedding dress before I get the chance to use it. Well, she pushed the boundaries to the maximum, and I'm telling you, this was a nuclear explosion. We're going to start at the beginning and tell you exactly why I haven't worn my dress yet. Hello, people. I'm a 30-year-old American woman. I was in a relationship with my boyfriend and later fiance for 5 years. We had an amazing relationship and I still love him. The thing is, he's from a foreign country living in America. He took care of some family franchise here, and my mom and my sister never liked him. They never gave me a reason to dislike him, so I assume it's because he's not white. My mom is very old-fashioned and always badmouths non-white people, so that makes sense to me. 3 years ago, 2 months before our wedding, he went to his home country for a business trip. And then he disappeared. We still don't know what happened to him. Maybe he was kidnapped, but we got no ransom. So maybe he could have been forcibly recruited into some guerrilla army. In his country, this happens a lot. I went for a full season to his country trying to find him, but it was useless. So I came back to America. I'd already bought my wedding dress and I had it there hanging in my closet. While I waited for a miracle, not gonna lie, I cried so many times while holding that dress. My sister's getting married soon, and a few weeks ago, she came into my house. She just wanted to chat in the beginning, but then she asked me to give her my wedding dress. I told her no, that it's the dress for my future wedding, but my sister just told me, "He's already dead anyways, get over it. You won't need it." I started crying and kicked her out of my house. Later that day, my mom came into my home, demanding to give my dress to my sister. She also said that my fiancé is dead, and that, quote, "that happens for insisting and marrying a beep." I was shocked and wanted to end the discussion, but she kept fighting and disrespecting my fiancé, and I kicked her out. They kept harassing me for the dress until I got tired of them. I went to my best friend who has a sister that's going to get married in a few months. I could sell them a dress for cheap. They were hesitant, but finally accepted my dress and I got a bit of money. I'll be granted a special seat at the wedding in return. I told my mom and sister that I sold my dress, but that only made the harassment worse. And now they're demanding to take it back. I don't know. Was I wrong? Alright guys, there's an update for this story, so let's hop in it now. A lot has happened since my first post. I don't want to retell anything, so you can just read the first one. First, I want to tell you how much I appreciate all the angels that shared their support and gave me hope. Wish the best for my fiancé. My fiancé is still missing, but I have an update from my mom and sister. My immediate actions after my post were to deactivate all my social media accounts or delete them for now. I communicate through text messages only. I blocked my mom and sister and had a few days of peace. I decided to behave badly for once in my life, and by suggestion from one of you guys, I bought the cheapest wedding dress I found online. I wanted to send it to my sister with a letter, but one morning, my mom and sister came to my home. They knocked on the door so hard that I thought they were going to take it down. I opened the door and they started asking why I went no contact and if I got my dress back. I said, wait a second, closed the door, got the cheap dress from upstairs, came back, opened the door again, and said, "Here's your dress, enjoy it," throwing the dress to my sister's face. I was closing the door, but my mom stopped me and pushed inside my house, letting herself and my sister enter. She started screaming in my face until she cornered me and kept screaming a lot about how ungrateful I am, that she did not raise me to be so rude, that I deserve everything that happened and will happen to me, that my fiancé was an illegal alien using me to stay in this country, that the children who disrespect their mothers will burn for eternity, and a lot of other hurtful things. My sister went upstairs, but she left a total mess trying to find my dress. My whole closet was all over the place, along with the contents of my dresser and my makeup kits. When they couldn't find it, they just left. I cried in my sofa for the entire day and could not sleep at night. The next day, I got a call. It was my sister's fiancé. He asked me, quote, "Oh, what happened to the dress?" My mom told him that I was going to sell them an unused dress and made a lot of excuses for why they could not just get it. I told him the full story, crying. He listened to it politely and apologized for his fiancé's behavior, and hung up the phone. 10 hours later, he called me again. He said he went the whole day arguing with my sister and mom, and that they won't bother me again because there'll be no wedding. He wished me good luck, then hung up the phone. I wasn't sure if it was real, so I called him again, just to make sure I wasn't dreaming. He told me that he canceled the wedding and will be moving back to his hometown. I felt very bad for breaking up my sister's relationship, but I was also glad that it's finally over for me. Also, I'm booking a therapist. I really need it. Thank goodness this whole situation was just too much. I hope God can forgive me. Crazy story, comment number 1. I have a feeling this isn't over now. Sister and mom will now be harassing OP for breaking up her sister's relationship, just because she would not give them the dress. Guys, I have a sneaky suspicion that that's probably going to happen. Make sure you subscribe because I think an update has to happen for this one. We have one more story that we're going to turn our attention to. The title of that story is OP's little brother ran away from home and is staying at their place. Parents are threatening them with an arrest for kidnapping. This story is insane coming up, but I just want to say, there's a lot of viewers who aren't subscribed to the channel. If you do enjoy listening to these stories, just know the best way to support me, hands down, only takes 2 seconds. Click the subscribe button, and if you're enjoying it, click the like button. Thank you so much, guys, and let me hop into today's final story. Friday at about 10 p.m., my 28-year-old male, little brother, 16 male, and a friend of his, 19 male, knocked on my door. I live in Illinois. He lives with our parents in North Carolina. I wasn't expecting him at all. He told me that he ran away from home. His friend drove him all the way. My little brother has a very difficult relationship with our parents. This has been going on for years. Our parents are deeply religious and conservative, and they're becoming increasingly radical in their beliefs and downright hateful. They're very strict and controlling with them. According to my brother, it has become unbearable at home lately because someone at school reported him to our parents for touching hands with another boy. They lost it. They're convinced he's gay. He says he himself doesn't know, and they want to send him to some Christian boot camp or something. According to him, they're downright psychologically abusive and submit him to constant criticism and harassment. I believe this from personal experience myself. My little brother absolutely refuses to go to Christian camp. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm afraid it could be some sort of conversion therapy. It's not illegal in North Carolina, as far as I know. He ran away before they could send him. He's terrified of going there. My parents don't know where he is, but they put 2 and 2 together and called me on Sunday. I said I didn't know where he was. They told me that if he shows up, I better call them, because if I hide him, they'll call the police on us, report me for kidnapping of a minor, and get me arrested. My brother said he wants to stay with me because he would not feel safe going back. I honestly believe this to be the case. I want to help my little brother, but I don't really know what to do about the whole situation. I'm willing to let him live with me, even if there's an issue. One of them being that he's still in high school. I'd like to know what his rights are and mine. Can our parents send him to this camp against his will? Can he stay with me if he wants to? He's adamant that he doesn't want to go back. I'm afraid he would be in a very difficult situation if he did, and I'm not sure he'd be safe. Number 3, would me letting him live at my place be considered kidnapping? I'm not preventing him from leaving or going home, he just doesn't want to. Number 4, is there a way I could temporarily get guardianship of my brother, if he so wishes? Okay, the situation with my brother seems to be getting clearer. Here's the update. Good news is he's still staying with me and likely will for some time. I can't go into too much detail, but here's what happened. We called a family lawyer who was recommended by people I know. We then called DCFS with the lawyer to explain the situation. DCFS interviewed my little brother about his home life. They also interviewed me to check that he was safe with me and seemed to conclude that he is, even though they did not tell me very clearly. They could not or did not want to tell me whether they could recommend he stay with me or go back home. However, we're also advised to call law enforcement, which we did. I also called our parents to let them know. My parents showed up at my place the next day, demanding to talk to my brother without me present. I let them in, but I stayed there the whole time. My brother did not budge and said he would stay with me no matter what and would not go to camp. Things got very tense and there was a lot of yelling and ranting nasty things. That's when I said they were no longer welcome at my place and I would call the police if they did not go away. And they left. They came back the next night to tell us that my brother can stay, but he and I are disowned. They won't do anything for us now or ever. They won't take him back and we're both dead to them. Then they drove back home. In a way of convincing them to let my brother stay with me, at least temporarily, was easier than I had anticipated. The price to pay with our family is high, but there was never going to be an easy solution. I was afraid of a big fight and they would call the police and accuse me of kidnapping, but thankfully that did not happen. Good thing is, my brother is not going back to our parents, and our lawyer thinks there's a good chance DCFS will allow him to stay with me. Complicated thing is that I had not planned to be taking care of a teenager anytime soon, so this is all new to me and frankly, a bit overwhelming. We're going to work with our lawyer to establish guardianship if that can be done. My bro and I are relieved that he likely can stay here, and he's safe here, but there's tons of issues we still have to deal with, like transferring schools, and above all, helping him adapt to a new life and a new environment. A lot of work ahead of us for sure. Okay guys, so I just have one question for this story. Do you think OP made the right decision in protecting his brother, trying to keep him at his house because he saw it best fit that way? Also, let's give a shout out in the comment section to the friend who agreed to drive him 14 hours there and back. What was it? North Carolina to, I think they said Illinois? Oof, sounds like a long drive. Let me know your thoughts on that, guys. Answer the question down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure to read to you guys every single day. I love doing it. So I hope to see you tomorrow. And remember, try something new today that you thought you could never accomplish. I bet you might be able to do it. The latest Mr. Reddito producer, Christine Billings. Thank you so much for the support.